welcome to Keeping Up with the Kardoucheans, a brand new series. Don't worry, I'm still doing the Badass Pagan Witch series, which I have linked in the top right corner in case you haven't seen it yet. We have created Duchess Callisto Kardouchean. It says Kardoucheans. I accidentally typed Kardoucheans, but you'll see that I've changed it later on. We are going for glamour and we are going for backstabbing, and it's going to be glorious. We're gonna start by focusing on making a lot of money, which is why I've gone with this education. And lustful is one of her traits, which increases fertility, but also intrigue, which will be nice. She is a seducer because, well, duh. She's beautiful because also, duh. I've added eccentric for fun. Pure-blooded, and she does like to smoke a little because, you know, that's just a thing they do in Los Athens. Los Athens is obviously a nod to Los Angeles. And with that, I think we've got it all covered. Let's go have some fun. Wow, that head garment is a fashion statement. Anyway, this is our starting point. We are House Kardouchean, and our motto is, it's important to love yourself, E. And I think that's very wise. As you can see, we are not considered a powerful family yet, so our goal is to become one. Throughout the series, we will also make some questionable decisions just for drama's sake. I choose the wealth focus and I start with my courtiers and guest opinions being plus 15 because we want to be both rich and popular. First order of the day, well, second, first we had a little wardrobe change, is finding myself a spouse. I eventually settled on Benedict because he's got a big claim on the Kingdom of Denmark and it results in an alliance with Denmark. Now we start off with a tiny minuscule court, but it will do for now. After that, we check out our humble abode. This is really cool, just like when you're playing Landless and you've got a camp, now you've got an estate and you can upgrade the different buildings and get benefits from that, and especially your great grandchildren will benefit from it. So I'm excited to upgrade that. Our proposal is accepted, so we already have an alliance even if we are betrothed. And in the meantime, I'm jelly of a new family who has just become powerful. Here I can check out the administrative government and all the possible things that I can do in the future. I mean, not right now, I'm not powerful enough, but you can see what you can do with regards to the emperor and the request that you could potentially make. And you can also see all the powerful families, including myself, which is, I mean, nothing to write home about, but at least I can see what I can potentially do in the future, and I'm very excited about it. I'm also very curious what you guys think about this latest DLC, but it looks hella cool. Because of my education, I can actually already demand a council position, and I do. Finally, we have arrived sort of almost at our grand wedding, and my fiance is riding into the sunset to meet up with me, but it takes like 5,000 million years before he gets here. Fast forward to 5 million years later and we have a grand wedding. Now immediately somebody is trying to make me nervous, but it backfires and I actually become a confident bride and somebody insults me pretty much to my face. And I'm a Kardouchean, so I form a rivalry with him. I don't back down. Now this is really cute because I actually fall in love with Benedict as soon as I see him. I also make a friend, a best friend actually. Then, while the wedding is going on, I'm pregnant before the wedding night has even started. So apparently I'm so fertile that I have an immaculate conception. My husband has cold feet about sleeping with me. Maybe also because he realizes he doesn't actually have to in order to get me pregnant. But anyway, I say, let's just go for it because I want to see his huge commitment. Then I wave goodbye. I say, thank you for coming. I came too. See you next time. Because of the wedding, we now have enough renown to choose our very first legacy for the Kardoucheans. Since influence is super duper important, I choose Stewards of Empire. So for now, we're not focusing on conquering or anything like that. We're basically building tall, I guess, trying to make as much money as we can, get our popularity up, and then buy some Prada bags or something. My bishop doesn't like me, probably because she's jelly, so I start a scheme to sway her. For influence, I can request a claim, so I decide to do that. Since the current ruler is a child, I can step in and assert my dominance, but I decide not to because it is a little ways away and I've got other things on my mind right now. I then have my first child and heir, a girl, and I name her Kyria. The downside of having an ally is that they can call you to war. So the Queen of Denmark does just that, and I accept. Now, I don't really want to help, and it's quite a long trek, especially if I'm wearing high heels, but I decide to be brave and go for it. During said journey, I get knocked up again, so that's nice. But being pregnant and fighting in a war is apparently not good for my mood, and I become melancholic. While I'm laying siege, I give birth to a son and call him Cosmos. Then I get a little bit distracted and run away too late from an enemy army and lose horribly, and then I get imprisoned. The only chains I like are from a necklace, so I'm not happy. This time I don't even require touch to become pregnant. Then my manicure is horribly ruined because I get tortured. I give birth to another daughter that I name Katarina, and then I decide to escape from prison. Anyway, that taught me not to help my allies anymore, especially when I have a tiny army. I continue focusing on constructing new buildings and increasing my money. And since I'm as fertile as a rabbit, I am pregnant again. Just like with my Henry VIII video, this game seems to know what we are doing, so I have another daughter, and I name her Cosmine. I also upgrade my manor for the very first time and create a guest room. You can also request an administration change, but I don't know what to yet, and I don't want to do that just yet. It's really cool that it's possible though. I found out that I'm pregnant again, which is awesome, but I also find out that one of my children is still in prison. So when I broke out, apparently I broke out and left my child behind. So minus points there. I then decided it's a good idea to probably start marrying off my children. My son can actually marry a princess of France, which will give us a lot of prestige and a great alliance, but only if, obviously, if he moves over to her court. So I'm okay with that. Bye son, have a nice life. The benefit I think is too great. My heir can actually marry the son of the emperor, and I certainly do not pass up that opportunity. I marry off my other daughter as well, which gains me another really strong ally, and I am feeling pretty good about myself. Now, the betrothed man to my heir already has a sister who is next in line, so I decide to start scheming and plotting her murder so that the betrothed to my heir will become the heir of the empire. I don't know if it will work, but I'm gonna try. I have another daughter and I name her Kali, Kill? I don't know, but it starts with a K. We meet Theophylact of Orit, I hope I pronounced that right, and he was a person who really existed. Now we can actually choose to continue to play as him and abandon our whole playthrough, or invite him to join us. So obviously I choose the latter. Since he is a little special being, I also decide to adopt him as a house member. My other house members don't really like it that much, but yeah, I'm gonna do it. Turns out a rare bean is actually a mean bean. So I decide to make him ward of my heir so that he will like me a little bit more, and I figure because he's so wise, but also mean, he will be a good teacher to my child. Now, if I make a wine room, I have the feast activity, which I think suits the Kardoucheans very well, so I decide to add that to my manor. In the meantime, our murder plan is going quite well. And then both an ally and my liege, the emperor, are going to war, so I have to join 2 wars. But I learned my lesson from the previous time, so I'm just gonna sit on the sidelines. My bestie misses me, so he takes me to see a minstrel in town. We're gonna hear some music and listen to some poetry, and I join him. Now, just like when you're landless, you sometimes have these little missions that pop up and you can go help out. So we take one of those. The mayor is a dish towel, so I call on my own people and save the day. I have to add some more peeps to the murder scheme because they have vanished, but it is going relatively well and I'm excited. Just as we gain 2 beautiful advantages, it turns out our emperor dies and she immediately becomes empress. Now I can publicly denounce her or support her. I do get a lot of influence if I denounce her, but since I'm plotting her murder, I decide to show support while I'm literally trying to stab her in the back. I give birth to another girl and I name her Cleopatra, with a K of course. Now, I probably should not plot the murder of somebody who's so important now, but I want to try and do it anyway because I want to see how difficult it really is in case we need it in the future, but it immediately becomes more difficult because our scheme is discovered. Now, Theophylact wants to know, is there anyone special so he can dedicate the artifact to someone? I choose to go for the prestige route, but I wonder if his question means something else, because there's tension between us, and when I touch his hand, he embraces me, and I decide, because I'm lustful and a Kardouchean, to take him as my lover. This feels like blasphemy, but okay. Since I'm super fertile, I pretty much become pregnant immediately, have a son, and it is Theophylact. I name him Cassianos, and Theophylact knows he's the father, but my husband doesn't, and I'd like to keep it that way. Now I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed with having both a lover and a husband, but I want to keep both of them, so even though I have the choice to boot one of them, I keep him. While I'm on a business trip, Katarina and Kale sneak into the armory and start playing with weapons. Kale gets seriously injured and Katarina wants to keep on playing because she's having fun and she's sounding like a psychopath. Even if it gives me stress, I choose one of the non-psychotic answers and whip that girl to shape. Jesus, tone it down, girl. Although it is a very Kardouchean thing to do. Our murder plot success chance is at minus 44%, but we're still going. Now our son steals some booze like a typical teenager, but he does put the keg back, so I give him some compliments. My bestie takes me for a nice little break again. And when I see the state of my murder plot, I decide now's the time to throw in the towel. It's too much work, too much money if I were to actually try. So we officially give up on the murder plot. I arranged a marriage for Cleo, which gives me another ally. Now, my son can actually marry a courtier of the Empress, and with the promise of a grand wedding, she actually accepts, which also forms a really powerful alliance, obviously, with the Empress, so I decide to do that. And for some reason, the father, Count Victor, is naked in, I don't know, maybe he's getting a tan or something. Now, the Empress apparently has the memory of a goldfish because she completely forgets I tried to plot her murder and rewards me for my loyal service. I get the position of her steward, and with that, our time has finally come. We are a powerful family. And with that, the first episode of Keeping Up with the Kardoucheans comes to an end. Thank you for watching.